So there was this one number that it completely stopped me cold when I was prepping for this deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
95%.
Wow. Okay, 95% of what?
According to this McKinsey data, 95% of companies are, actively investing in AI right now.
That sounds about right. It's the single biggest line item in most IT budgets this year. It's everywhere.
Exactly. It's the topic of every board meeting. But then you keep reading, and the other shoe drops, and it drops hard.
Let me guess. The results aren't there.
The results aren't even in the same zip code, only 1%. Literally 1% of those companies believe they have reached true AI maturity.
That is a staggering gap. Usually in tech adoption, you see a bell curve. Early adopters, majority, laggards.
Right.
This isn't a bell curve, it's a cliff, a chasm.
So basically everyone's at the party, but only 1% of the room is actually dancing.
And the rest are just standing around the edge of the room looking confused. Or, to use the term from the research we're looking at, they're stuck in pilot purgatory.
Pilot purgatory. I love that term. It sounds like a truly miserable place to work.
It is because it's so frustrating. It's a state of experimentation chaos.
Okay, what does that look like?
You've got marketing playing with an image generator over here. HR is testing a chatbot over there. But if you tear them out and look at the actual business impact, there's nothing.
It's just noise.
It's just noise. One of the sources called it random acts of digital violence, which I thought was perfect.
That feels very accurate for some software rollouts I've been a part of. So the mission for us today is to figure out how to escape that chaos, right?
Exactly. We're going to break down the gap between that 99% spinning their wheels and the elite 1% who are pulling away. And we're going to use a specific framework called the loop break methodology.
And this isn't just theory. We have actual case studies.
We do. We've got Domino's, JP Morgan Chase. But the big headline, the warning from all this research is this. The clock is ticking.
Yay.
The window to join that 1% is closing in about 18 to 24 months. This isn't a 5-year plan.
Okay, that definitely adds some urgency. So let's start with the diagnosis. Why are 99% of companies stuck? Is it money? Is it talent?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But the research is very clear. The barrier isn't budget. It's not a lack of data scientists.
So what is it?
It's the core question that leadership asks before they even start.
The question itself. Okay, let's unpack that. What's the wrong question?
The 99%, they look at a tool like ChatGPT, and they ask, how can we use this to improve our current processes?
Which sounds logical. I want to make my process faster.
It's logical, but it's just optimization. It's asking, I dig ditches for a living. How can I get a slightly better shovel? It keeps you trapped.
Okay, so what's the 1% asking?
They ask a totally different question. They ask, how can we redesign our entire business around what AI makes possible?
So instead of better shovel, it's, do we even need to be digging ditches at all?
Exactly. And the classic case study here, and it's funny to call them a tech giant, but they really are, is Domino's Pizza.
The pizza company.
The pizza company. Now, if Domino's had that 99% mindset, they'd have just built a chatbot to take orders. Press 1 for pepperoni.
Sure. Save a little money on call centers.
Right. But it's not transformational. Instead, they redesigned their whole customer experience around predictive intelligence.
What does that even mean for pizza?
Their system predicts what a neighborhood will order before anyone even opens the app. It's based on weather, local events, past orders.
That's wild.
And it goes deeper. They use AI to optimize delivery routes in real time. They manage inventory down to the last mushroom to cut waste. They didn't just add AI to the pizza business. They built a predictive logistics engine that happens to sell pizza.
So the AI isn't the receptionist, it's the entire operating system.
And the results are huge. 25% faster delivery, 30% less food waste. And their satisfaction scores are through the roof. That's the difference.
That's a massive difference. But the sources also had a counterexample, right? An anonymous retailer that ran something like 73 different AI pilots.
73 pilots over 3 years. And they had almost nothing to show for it.
How is that even possible?
Because they fell into the trap of motion versus movement.
Motion versus movement.
They had pilots in pricing, inventory, customer service, but none of them talked to each other. They were just isolated islands of activity. It feels busy, it feels innovative, but the core business never changes.
It's like running on a treadmill. You're sweating, but you're still in the same room.
Precisely. And this is creating what the research calls a two-tier economy. The 1% are
Yeah.
building these compounding advantages, and the gap between them and everyone else is accelerating. It's becoming a chasm.
Okay, that is genuinely terrifying. So we know the problem. We're asking the wrong questions. We're stuck in pilot purgatory. How do we get out? This is where the loop break methodology comes in. What is a loop?
A loop is just shorthand for the repetitive, cyclical drudge work that eats up something like 80% of corporate energy.
The stuff that no one puts on their resume, but everyone secretly does all day?
Yes. Data entry, reformatting reports, chasing approvals, searching for that one PDF. The loop break idea says, stop trying to install AI as this big, scary thing. Instead, just identify one high-friction loop, one thing your team hates doing, and break it.
And the strategy for that is called a thin slice, right?
Correct. You don't try to overhaul the whole system. You take a thin slice of one workflow. The example in the notes is perfect. Responding to RFPs.
Oh, requests for proposals. I can feel the collective groan of every B2B salesperson listening right now.
It's a morale killer. It's usually a 2-week slog of copying and pasting from old documents, reformatting.
And praying you didn't leave the wrong client's name in the new proposal.
We've all been there. So the loop break approach isn't just giving the sales team ChatGPT and saying good luck. It's building a specific custom agent, a custom RFP specialist.
How's that different from just a chatbot?
Context. It's all about context. You feed this agent your company's winning library, every successful bid from the last 5 years.
Yeah.
It knows your voice, your specs, your pricing.
So it's not guessing, it's referencing what works.
Exactly. It analyzes the new RFP against that library and produces a draft. So instead of 14 days of misery, you get a 90% complete draft in, what, a few hours?
And then a human comes in to check it.
Critically, yes.
Yeah.
But that person is now an editor, not a drudge writer. The error rate plummets to less than 1%.
That is so tangible. That's not some abstract AI will change the world. That's AI gave me my weekend back.
But, and this is probably the most important rule in this whole methodology, there's a catch.
Okay.
If it isn't in the workflow, it isn't real.
Unpack that. What does that mean?
It means standalone chatbots are the enemy. If I have to leave my email, open a new tab, log into some AI portal, paste my query, copy the answer, and paste it back, I haven't saved time. I've just created a new clunky loop.
You've added friction.
You've added friction. Real maturity is about embedding this intelligence into the tools people already use. A button in Salesforce, a feature in Slack. It has to feel like invisible infrastructure.
The JP Morgan Chase case study really nailed this, I thought.
Oh, this one is fantastic because it's about lawyers, and lawyer time is the most expensive time in any building.
Ah, true.
So they didn't start with the tech. They started with a very specific pain point. Their legal team was spending 360,000 hours a year reviewing commercial loan agreements.
360,000 hours. That's astronomical.
The massive drain.
Yeah.
So they built an AI tool specifically for that workflow. Not a general legal bot, but a tool to review that one type of document. The result was a 90% reduction in review time.
90%.
90%. An estimated $300 million in annual savings.
From fixing one loop.
Wow. And notice, they didn't replace the lawyers. They freed them up from the drudgery to focus on actual legal strategy and high-value work.
Which is a perfect pivot to the human side of this. Because when we talk about breaking loops and automating tasks, people get anxious about their jobs. But the sources talk about a shift from job descriptions to task packets.
This is a really fundamental shift in how we even think about a unit of work.
How so?
We're used to a job description, a big static bundle of responsibilities. I'm a marketing manager.
Right, it's an identity.
But in an AI mature company, work gets broken down into these modular task packets, and the employee's role changes. They stop being just the doer, and they become what the sources call a sovereign operator, an architect.
Sovereign operator. That sounds very grand. What does that look like on a Tuesday morning?
It means you're not the one crunching the spreadsheet. You're managing a fleet of AI agents that are doing the crunching. Your job is to define the workflow, set the parameters, and then, most importantly, verify the output.
So you're the conductor, not the first violin.
Perfect analogy. And because of that, how we measure performance has to change. We have to stop measuring hours worked and start measuring something they call the net value multiplier, or NVM.
Net value multiplier. Okay, break that down for me.
It's actually pretty simple. It's the ratio of human judgment to the scale of AI execution. So how much leverage can one human get? If a process used to take 10 people, and now I can run it myself with higher quality by orchestrating these agents, My NVM is huge.
And the notes were very clear on this. This isn't about blind trust in the AI. This human-in-the-loop concept is mandatory.
It's non-negotiable. The AI is the first draft machine. But the human job is verification and judgment. Trust isn't built on the AI being perfect because it won't be. Trust is built on a process where a human verifies the output before it matters.
I want to touch on something else here because all this talk of agents and packets can sound a little cold, a little robotic. The research warns about an empathy recession.
This is such an important point, especially with hybrid work. We've all felt it, right? The social connection is weaker. The Zoom calls are more transactional. The risk is that AI makes that worse.
So how does the loop break idea help with that?
The argument is that we're wasting our precious, synchronous human time on the wrong things. We have meetings just to share status updates. That's a waste.
The dreaded meeting tax.
Exactly. The solution is to let AI handle the coordination. Let an agent schedule the meeting, write the summary of the pre-reads, draft the status update.
So you kill the meetings that are just about information transfer.
Right. And you free up that human-to-human time for what only humans can do. Connection. Mentoring, resolving conflict, real strategic brainstorming. The goal they mention is a 3-to-1 ratio.
3-to-1.
3 asynchronous artifacts, docs, summaries, updates from agents for every 1 synchronous meeting.
Imagine a world with 2/3 fewer meetings, but the ones you have are actually meaningful.
That's the promise. It's not just a faster workplace, it's a more human one.
Okay, so we have the diagnosis, the method, the cultural shift, but let's circle back to that timeline you mentioned. Why the huge rush? Why not just wait and see?
It's all about the compounding gap. In the old world of software, if you were 2 years late to adopt something, you just bought it, installed it, and you were caught up.
Right. Microsoft Word doesn't get smarter the more I use it.
Precisely. But AI is a flywheel. The 1% who are breaking these loops today, they're feeding proprietary data back into their models. Every transaction, every RFP response makes the model smarter.
So the rich get richer, data-wise.
Structurally, yes. Yeah. And it shows. AI mature orgs are getting products to market 60% faster. They're operating with 30 to 50% lower costs.
Yeah.
If you wait 2 years, you're not just 2 years behind in technology, you're 2 years behind in learning.
The catch-up cost just explodes.
It becomes what the researchers call an irreversible divergence. The decisions a company makes in the next 90 days will likely define its competitive position for the next decade.
That is a very sobering thought. So let's make this practical. For anyone listening right now who's having that, uh-oh, I'm in pilot purgatory moment.
Yeah.
What do they do tomorrow? The sources lay out a 90-day loop break roadmap.
Yeah, it's a simple 3-step triage. Step 1 is audit. But you don't audit your tech stack. You audit the pain.
You go talk to the humans.
You go interview your teams and ask one question. What is the most painful, repetitive task you do every week? What's the thing that makes you want to quit?
Find the friction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Step 2 is prototype. You build a thin slice solution for that one loop. Not for the whole department, just one thing. And you do it fast, in 2 to 4 weeks, using safe, zero retention tools.
Build a sandcastle. Get a quick win and prove it can work.
That's it. And then step 3 is govern. This is where most companies fail. They create a department of no that blocks everything.
All red tape.
Instead, you need to build fast lanes with risk gates. Move from blocking innovation to governing the flow. If a use case is low risk, let it go. High risk, like legal contracts. Put a human in the loop, but don't just stop everything.
So, audit the pain, prototype a thin slice, govern the flow.
That is the escape hatch from Pilot Purgatory.
It's fascinating because it really flips the whole narrative. We think of AI as this giant, complex wave, but what you're saying is, don't look at the wave. Look at the single most boring, repetitive task in your day-to-day work and just fix that.
One loop at a time. It's not about the sci-fi. It's about operational discipline today.
There's a quote from the research that I think just sums this entire thing up perfectly. It says, "We aren't just using AI to work faster, we're using it to work smarter. By breaking these loops, we've given ourselves the most valuable resource in business, time to think."
And that, at the end of the day, is the only sustainable competitive advantage. In a world of nonstop noise, the company that carves out time to actually think is the company that's going to win.
So here's the question I want to leave you with. If you could get back that 20% of your week that you lose to drudge work, to those loops that drive you crazy, what would you actually do with that time? What's the big problem you'd finally have the space to solve?
That's the question that gets you into the 1%.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the next deep dive.